All right, so money mindset. I know that this topic can be very triggering for some people. It can feel like a lot because it is something that really hits at the core of what makes us feel safe and stable in life. And it can really bring up a lot of things for us, right? I know in my own journey, money has seemed to be the mirror that anytime I was really needing to overcome some stuff or I was working through shadow aspects, right? Money seemed to always be that mirror that was just telling me, like, oh, you're feeling this, you need to work through this, right? So it was a very hard topic for me for a really long time. So I know that if you're in the start of your journey with, coaching and abundance and stepping into the kind of this like limitless possibilities space, right? Money is going to be something that comes up for you too, no matter what level you're at with it. It's going to really require you to go deeper to be able to receive bigger levels, and bigger abundance when it comes to money. So I really wanted to come in here and chat about this a little bit with you. Now, what I will say is that money is not, yes, money matters, right? It is important, but the only way you start to receive more and more of it is by detaching from it, by detaching from the need to have it. So, what you want to really work on is getting out of scarcity mindset, right? Like stopping the thoughts that come in that make you feel small around it, right? Really stopping them by questioning them, giving them actual stage time, and then moving through it, right? With an abundance mindset switch. Your goal is to go from scarcity to abundance mindset as quick as possible, because the longer you hold on to these scarcity thoughts, the longer they have power over you, and the longer you stay in the level with money that you don't want to be. So it is super important to know that money, money is a symptom of the root of the cause. So whenever money is coming up for you as a stressor, know that that is just data. It's not actually money that's the issue. It is something related to it at the core, right? That money is just mirroring to you. It is just giving you the, hey, you're not going to pay attention to this thing I need you to look at until you look at something that you actually really care about, right? So that's also why we want to do the detachment work when it comes to money, because the more you can detach from money, the less that it needs to show up in your life as the teaching tool. So that was super motivating for me when I was like, oh, I don't want money problems, right? It was like, okay, well, let me just work on detachment and not focusing on needing money as the outcome, right? My goal now is adding as much value as I can and focusing on service first, and then leaning into trust, knowing that as a beautiful byproduct, I'm going to be taken care of because it is my divine right to receive abundantly. It is your birthright to be abundant financially, to be financially free and taken care of. And one of the reasons why it's so hard to believe that at the beginning is because you're probably coming from a place of, the 3D world, I like to call it, where when you're working for a corporate or you're working for just a company in general, it's typically operating off of the old way of doing things. So it's so because of that, you're now having to come in and reprogram everything you've ever heard and learned about money and the way to receive it and earn it, right? It doesn't have to be everything that it's been in your life. So it can almost feel impossible to just like adopt these new beliefs and trust that it can be there for you by doing things different. One of the scariest things I ever did in my business was, because I'm very intuitive and I get a lot of information coming in from source. And I was, starting to build this business, and I was starting to get an understanding that I had to surrender and just be and let go. And that was so, so scary because it was something I had never done before. So I say all of this because you're going to be required to do that too. If you're feeling like, if you're feeling like not a, sorry, if you're feeling, this is the fun of filming in these places, you get little, interrupters coming in. But anyways, if you're feeling scared around money, if you're feeling scared around abundance, you're part of the reason why stepping into this felt nervous for you is because you're like, I don't know how to turn this around, right? then I want you to know it's normal. This is part of the journey and part of what you're being asked to heal through, not only for yourself, but the collective. Again, remember, part of the reason why this journey is so important is because you're a leader, you're an authority, you're being asked to move first, right? You're being asked to move first, which is uncomfortable. And it's going to require you to be tested in ways you've never been tested before and to do things to help the collective of others rise, right? That's why this journey can just be tough. So I want you to just really understand that money equals energy. Money equals value, right? You're receiving an abundance in exchange for how much value you're bringing into the world, right? I didn't really understand how that worked either because I was like, giving a lot of stuff for free, and I was like, I don't understand why I'm not receiving, abundance back. And it's because I was giving free stuff because I didn't feel worthy of receiving, and I was giving away tons of free stuff because I was like, well, if I do this, then they'll give back to me, right? I was doing it to get. I was giving to get. I wasn't giving just to give pure value and step by step how to do things and to help people like create more for themselves in their life, right? So that's why I was keeping myself small for so long. So I really want you to redefine what value means for you in your life. I really want you to redefine like how you want to serve and what is the bigger picture and what is your bigger mission. Now, of course, we're going to work through that together, but I really want you to know that that is a crucial component to being able to receive abundantly. You've got to be able to look at it from a little bit of a higher perspective, right? Like bird's eye view, kind of looking down instead of being so honed in on the current reality of your money situation and your money story. So from here, what I want you to do is really think about what is my money story? What is my relationship to money? And I actually want you to write it out so you can see it. I know that sometimes doing these exercises can be annoying and maybe you've done them before, but do it again. I want you to rediscover what are your money stories? What are all the things you believe about money? What's your current relationship with it? When you realize money is just energy and you can change that anytime you want, you can change the energy and relationship in your business anytime you want, you feel powerful and you realize you're in control. Anytime I've ever felt scarcity around money, what I did was I started learning more about how money works, started filling myself with knowledge to feel powerful. And then I realized, oh my gosh, I'm always in control. Just because money feels like it's so, so important and it matters, it doesn't mean that I don't get a say in how much I allow into my life. So I want you to start operating from that mindset. Realize that if you ever feel scarcity mindset, stuck, frustrated, whatever, you can always just center yourself, go back to your habits and your rituals we talked about, right? Center yourself and then say, okay, I'm not a victim. How can I gain my control back? What do I need to do right now to feel empowered? Maybe it's educating yourself on money a little bit. Maybe it's saying, how much value have I been giving? How much have I been helping others? If you haven't been helping much, okay, you're not going to receive. So change that, right? And that's the beautiful thing of owning a business is you get to change it however, whenever you want. I used to be so frustrated in corporate because I felt like I was trapped by all the processes they had in place. I always felt like I was stuck, in these boxes of how you had to do things. But when you own your own business, you can pivot as much as you want. This is why I think I am where I am today, is because I pivoted faster than other people, faster than other people recommend, and faster than I see other businesses do, because people are afraid, they get stuck in their ways. They don't want to go through the hassle of changing things, but you can do it anytime you want. And the beautiful thing is with business, a lot of times it's mostly just changing your mindset to really believe, right? To believe things. So it's not always going in and changing processes and things. Sometimes you got to stink and thinking. You got to change your mindset. So this is super, super important. I really hope that if you are feeling unsure still with some of this stuff, I want you to re-listen to this. And then moving forward, I want you to, right, create your lists, really understand what's your relationship with money. I want you to love money, right? I want you to start telling yourself you love money. It's not that you have a money problem. It's not a money problem, right? It's that you have maybe a value problem as far as what you're bringing into the world, or maybe you just have a knowledge gap, right? Or maybe you're just afraid, right? And you're disguising your fear of not knowing what to do with, oh my gosh, I don't know how to receive money. Like, what if I don't get money? And that's kind of the excuse that is making you feel better about what's really going on. So it just, anytime money stuff comes up, it's just data. It's just telling you there's some work to do. It's just telling you that you get to now have an opportunity to learn. And then the beautiful thing is when you do, you up level. And when you up level, you become in a higher frequency, which is then a magnet for more and more abundance. So yes, sometimes it can feel like it's a lot of work to do the work. But what you get back from it is tenfold. So it is worth it every time. And and just yeah, I just I really made this video because I know that if you're coming into this container, you are heart-centered. You are a light worker. You have desires to give so much to the world. And you deserve to receive so much for that. You deserve to be abundant. And I'm sick of seeing people in this space not feeling abundant, feeling broke, feeling scared, letting money dictate their life and their happiness and the moves that they take for themselves and for others. Right. So this conversation is so important. And I wanted to have it in phase one before we really get diving in, because what you'll notice is a lot of this information is going to plant the seed now and it's really going to click later, right? I'm teaching you this stuff now. These seeds around this topic were planted for me years ago, but it's really starting to sink in now. That's because when you hear these kind of higher level conversations, these higher vibe conversations on topics like this, what happens is it's rewiring and recoding your DNA. So just by listening, you're being rewired and recoded for higher templates, being able to receive more. So the more that you listen, right, the more that your body's really changing to be able to be the vessel that can hold all the abundance that you're calling in. So just trust. It's going to, if it's not fully sinking in, you're starting to hear it, but you're like, oh, okay, still have some stuff to do on this. Just trust in time. It will really sink in and you will feel like an expert. You will feel like you're starting to have some mastery around it to where you can teach it, right? To where it just becomes who you are, right? So anyways, so enjoy. And if you have questions on this, of course, reach out. We can dive in. We will be doing some one-on-one money mindset sessions. So don't you worry, right? We're gonna really get to the root of where you're at with it. What is your money story? But I would love for you to kind of dive into this on your own a bit first. Come to the call having a little bit of a reflection on what you think some of your story is or your relationship with money is, and then we can digest it further and go even further faster with it in our one-on-one sessions to make it as potent as possible. So anyways, I love you. And again, as always, I'm so proud of you, and I'll see you in the next video.